Alright, Subchapter 1, General Provisions, S1E11. Scope. The chapter goes over the discharge of the hazard substance of the defining of the chapter, the rules set forth of the guidance of the procedure for the file, for all the person involved with the discharge of the hazard substance. It also set forth the certain registration, reporting, design, operation, with the maintenance requirement of the operator, owners, and operative of the major facility with the transmission pipeline with the handling hazardous substance. The subchapter that prescribes the provisions general applicable to the following show with the how of the certain term of the definement of the chapter, the person is subject with the chapter, the department rights for the acts for the term complying with the chapter and with the act. 71E12 with the construction of the rules beginning with the necessary for the promote with the public health, with the welfare, protect with the environment, liberally construct with the permit with the discharge with the department of the discharge statutory function with the act. Commissioner may amend with the repeal of the chapter and with the conformance over the administrative procedure with the New Jersey State Authority Statute of Authority 5214B1 and Tennessee equivalent New Jersey Administrative Code 130. 71E13 serve the severability and any section subsection provision clause of the preparation portion of the chapter application thereof any of the circumstance with the judge and individual unconstitutional by the court of the competent jurisdiction remind with the chapter of the application thereof of the whether other purpose of the circumstance of the not effective of the shall remain in the full force of the fact. 71E14 relation with the federal and state law, with the rule of the intent, but they do not relieve any of the persons do not comply with all the other applicable law, with the ordinances, rule of the regulation, ordinance of the governmental authorities governing the activity regulated here under and according with the rules and regulations of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, New Jersey Department of Treasury, and any other state, federal, local agencies. 71E15, State Non-Liability. New Jersey State with the government non-liable for any of the damage of the arising for the action for the omission for the relating to any of the plan registration may be required with the pursuant to this chapter no with approval of the department of any of the plan with any of the cleanup of the removal of the activity should be and defense against liability for the discharge and ownership of the shift of liability in the discharge of the department and event of the discharge any of the person responsible for the discharge shall be held liable to the extent of determined by the act. 165, the definition following words of the term of the chapter of the following meanings and left the content for the clearly indicated the above ground storage tanks means the storage defined with the one not under defined not as underground storage tank. Acts means the Spill Compensation Control Act. Agents and officers, municipality, meaning with a duly authorized representative of the municipality, local bonds with the health, including but not limited to a member of the police, fire, with the public work, with the Department of Public Health, officer of the township, an engineer, zoning officer, director of the emergency management, environmental officer for the API, American Petroleum Institute, with the API 510, with the pressure vessel inspection, mainly with the inspection, repair, and rating alteration. F570, FPI 570, American Petroleum Inspection Code 570, inspection, repair, alteration, re-rating, and service piping system. API 653, standard tank inspection, repair, alteration, reconstruction. ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineers. ASME Section 5, boiler pressure vessel code Section 5, Section 8, boiler pressure vessel code Section 8, entitled the pressure vessels, ASMI Section 10, Pressure Vessel Code Section entitled Fiberglass Reinforced Plastic Pressure Vessels, and as certain confidential information meaning with the information subject with the confidential claim with the indefinitely determination not made. ASTM American Society Testing Materials, ASTM D5856, standard for the test method for the measurement of hydraulic conductivity, porous material, the rigid law, compaction, mold parameter. ASTM D93, standard test method of flashpoint, parency, Martin's closed cup test, or ASTM E1063, standard practical acoustic emissions examination, fiberglass reinforced plastic resin tank vessels. Broker means any person arranging for the transportation, treatment of the towards disposal of the head of something on the behalf of another person, co-regulation, claimant. Any person with a submitted with a confidential claim under the chapter class confidential determination made by the Department of New Jersey Administrative Code 71E89 with the class information cleanup, removal activity means the act of the cleanup of the removal of the attempt of the cleanup of the removal of the discharge of the hazard of the source thereof, of the chemical and neutralize of the discharge of the measure for the prevent, mitigate any of the damage to public health, the safety of the welfare, included but not limited to public property, shoreline, beach, for the surface of the water column, with the bottom of the sediment, and soil for the other effective of the property, including wildlife with the natural resource, for the cleanup of the removal of the cost, the means of the cost associated with the cleanup of the removal of the activity and care of the state of the political subdivision of the agency, any of the person with the written approval of the Department of Commissioner for the meaning of the Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection, over the person designed with his or her behalf of the administrative order, confidential copy with the means of the copy record, copy thereof submitted for the obtained by the Department to contain with the information for the claimant and serve with the confidential information for the confidential information meaning the information claimant with the serve with the confidential claim with the compliant with the procedure with the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E7. Such confidential claim that has been expired with a be waived with a withdrawn with the department to have with a confidential termination complying with the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E8. Confidential claim and the claim of the meaning of the respect with the information of the person with either submitted with the department to allow with the department to pertain with a written request such with the person with the department is such with the treat for the such information confidential termination with the termination with the assertive with the confidential information containment activity meaning the action limit to prevent the spread of the leak of the discharge of the contract that means of the person, for the employee, with the owner, of the operative of the department that has entered the agreement, the owner of the operative of the department to perform, serve to provide goods, the controlling interest, meaning with the director ownership of at least 50% of the voting stock with the other equity interest of the person. The DCR means of the discharge cleanup of the removal plan with the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E4. The department, usually the Department of Environmental Protection and Diligent Inquiry, meaning with the conducting of the diligence, serve for the all of the documents reasonably likely to contain with the information related with the possible to discharge of the documents for the position, the person's possession, custody with the control of the possession, custody with the control of any of the other person from the person conducting search of the legal rights for the obtain such documents, making the responsible inquiry with the current with the formal employee with the agent with the include but not include with the responsible with the has something with the current with the form of the employee with the agent with the knowledge documents relevant to discharge. Discharge meaning with any of the intentional or the unintentional act of the omission with the unless for the pursuing and end of the complying with the event. Addition validate effect of the federal state with the permanent result of the releasing with the spilling of the pumping of the pouring with the emitting emptying and dumping hazardous substances into the water with the lands of the state with the entering the waters of the outside of the jurisdiction of the state with the damage of the result of the lands of the water, the natural resources of the jurisdiction of the state, but the term does not include the leak. Discharge cleanup organization association with equipment of people to utilize for the cleanup of the removal activity. Discharge mining device made with equipment and instruments for the defect with the they discharge facility. Double the wall pipe, the meaning of the pipe to consist of one pipe fixed with inside with another with any of the angular space between. The DPCC plan with the discharge prevention contamination countermeasure plans are required in New Jersey Administrative Code 71E4. Environmental sensitive area, meaning for the purpose of playing with the discharge control of the mitigation of the geographic area with the one more significant nature and ecological resource of the state of the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E18. EPA, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, equivalent measures means total volume of the gallon of the drum of the tote with another container of the holding has something not to be transported and contained with the calculated volume of the gallons of the space that has substance occupies. Facility means any plan with the equipment of the either the refine, produce, the store, hold, the handle, transfer, the process, the transfer, has some of the facility inventory means with any of the actual accounting with the online on hand has some of the quantity of the performed at a minimum of the annual base of the field erected storage means steel storage tank of the erected on site with it will be used. Financial public copy the meaning of the copy of the record submitted with the obtained with the department identical with the confidential copy with any of the confidential information that has been blacked out provided without with the record but it is not informed with the confidential information concealed with the blacking out of the final public copy shall be the copy of the such of the record which shall be confidential information for the detected and should have the confidential information deleted with the contained with the notation such of the deletions have been made. Financial reporting period means at least a consecutive 12-month period with any of the following reports to support the financial testing with the according with the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E44G is prepared with a 10K with the submitted with the Security Exchange Commission with the annual report with the tangible net worth with the submitted with the Duns & Bradstreet with the annual report submitted with the Engineering and Information Administration Rural Utilities with the Board of the Public Utilities Financial Reporting Year May the compromise with the official year and the calendar year. Grace period means for the period of time effective with the New Jersey State Authority, the 13-1D 125 of the commonly known as the grace period law with the person with the contract the minor violation in order to avoid imposition of the penalty that would otherwise happen with the violation. Guarantor means a person possessing controlling interest of the owner and operative possessing the controlling interest of the person with the possess of the control of the interest of the operator and operative with the control of the through the second ownership of the common parent with the possess with the control of the interest of the owner and operator. Engage substantial business relationship with the owner and the operator at issue with the guarantee of the accident of the business relationship had some of the means all of the substance set forth in New Jersey Administrative Code 71E17. Impermeable means the utilizing the layer of the natural of the man-made natural of the material sufficient thickness for the density of the composition they have the maximum permeability with the head substance being contained 10 by negative to the negative 7 centimeters per second at maximum anti-capacitated with the hydrostatic pressure. Incompatible materials mean that those substances of the mix of the creative that has greater than the most potent of the individual substance alone. Fire and explosion generation with the toxic fume with integrity with the testing with the meaning with the testing with the structure with the Southwest New Jersey Administrative Code 71E216. Internal inspection examination for the interior of the above ground storage tank appropriate with the type of the side of the tank of the corn with the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E216. Leak and leakage means for the escape of the hazardous substance from the ordinary containers employed with the normal course of the storage of the transfer the process for the secondary containment of the diversion system of the other surface which was cleaned up with the remove of the prior to the escape into the waters or onto lands of the state liquid means have the viscosity of the 0.2 centiposes or 3,000 centiposes inclusive any of the atmosphere of 760 millimeters of the mercury pressure for the temperature of the 32 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Major facility with the means of the facility is located with the one more continuous adjunction property with the operative with the same person for the half of the total aggregate with the combined storage capacity with the 20,000 gallons or more hazardous substance of the petroleum and petroleum products with 200,000 gallons of the hazardous substance of all kinds. Equivalent measures of the defined in section hazardous substance which are not commonly measured with the valuing vessel except for the vessel of the solely actual activity directly related with the recovering of the containing of the cleaning up of the removal of the discharge per year for petroleum and the surface of the water of the state with include the training of the reach of the activity directly related with the discharge response shall be considered the major facility with the hazardous substance with the transfer between the vessel with the transmission pipeline is not a major facility. Major leaks main accidents required with the pursuit of the Title 49-195.5 natural resource for the means of all the landfish, shellfish, wildlife, biota, wire, waters, others such for the resources owned with the managed, held, and trusted otherwise controlled by the state. In New Jersey, the NJPDES permit, the permit rule of the Department of Pursuit of the New Jersey Administrative Code 714A. Non-miscible lighter than water may have the density of less than water and not mixing with water at applicable degree. But DPDES may be the pyramid of the permit rule of the EPA pursuant to Title 40 CFR 122. Out of service means within of the containment of the pipe of the equipment with which with the liquid and sludge that have been removed with all connecting with the line of the pipe to give it a disc and connect with it linked off with all the valves except for the ventilation valves have been closed and locked with the conspicuous signs of have been posted outside of the posted in the posted of the state out of the strip of the day with the removal of the strip of the owner and operator meaning for the aim of the person with respect to the vessel owned by the operator with the charter of the determined such vessel the any velocity the assessment of the facility operator left for the contract with the other form of agreement amendment over the relic facilities owned and operated with the facility immediately prior to the abandonment and owner over the time of the discharge. Person means any public, private, corporation, with the company, with the companies, associations, societies, firms of the partnership, with the joint stock, and the community companies, as well as individuals, well, but you with the designated with the owner of the property, subject with the chapter, with the include with the state, with the United States, with the other state, with the United States, with the foreign country, with the government, with the political subdivision agreement, legally owning and possessing a property within the state, with the person in change of charge, meaning with the individual designated with the being on the chart of the marine transfer operation, pursuant to the U.S. Coast Guard Regulation 33, Code Regulation 154. 710 and Title 33 Code Regulation 155-700. Person responsible to discharge meaning with any of the person who's active with the emission with the result of the discharge, each owner and operative with the facility with the vehicle with the vessel with the from when the discharge occurs with any person who owns controls hazardous substances with the discharge with any person with the directly indirectly occurs call with the discharge any of the person allowed with the discharge to occur with any other person brokers and generates and transport has the subjects to the discharge. Petroleum and petroleum products meaning liquid with the essential with the complex mixture with the natural synthetic hydrocarbon, the differential type with a small amount of the substance in compounds of the oxygen, sulfur, nitrate, metallic compounds, any of the use of the liquid products obtained with the liquid with the varying refining process with the fractional distillation, cracking, catalytical reforming with the alkylation and polymerization. The term is included but not limited to the gasoline, kerosene, fuel oil, synthetic oil, sludge, oil, refuse, oil mixed with the other waste of the crude oil with the head substantive listed in the appendix A with the which are to be used with the refining and the blending with the crude petroleum and the petroleum stock of the state. Preliminary public company with the meaning with the copy of the record with the department identical with the confidential copy with the expect with the absurd confidential information has been blacked out provided with the however the record with is not a form with the confidential information can be concealed by blacking out with the preliminary public copy shall be copied with the which such confidential information has been deleted with containing the notation stating with the deletion operations have been made with the process area of the production facility, meaning the employed with the production and the action, the operation, treatment, embracing chemical with the industrial manufacturing processing factory for the method forms that is carried out with the utilizing hazardous with the factory for the methods of the forms of the include but not limited to the batch for the continuous chemical reaction, distillation, blending of the mixing operation for refining, process separation, process renucleide means of the substance listed in Title 40 CFR 302B 3024 Appendix B. Record means even the document, the writing of the photograph, the sound of the magnetic recording, drawing, other similar information for the preserve of the which the information can be retrieved, the copy of the regional administrator, the EPA with the federal region, and include with the state of the New Jersey, the regulated portion, of the area of the portion, and equipment of the major facility transmission pipeline that is something that's routinely refined with the produced, stored and held and handled used for the process of the transfer and repair. Means any work necessary to maintain with the restore of the storage tank with equipment of the conditional suitable with the operation of the necessary for the ordinary day-to-day and with the keep of the functional integrity of the storage tank with the other equipment. Request for me for the person who have the made request for the department to inspect with a copy of the record of the department and possessive of the control. The reservoir means receptacle chamber with which of the use of the storing of the fluid. Response coordinator means the individual of the major facility with the transmission pipeline who with the possession of the sufficient corporate authority with the technical background with the contractor obligated with the funding with the implement, clean up and the removal of the activities, the liaison, federal, state, with the local on-scene coordinator. Secondary contaminant diversion system means the structural device, the combination there with the supplementary ordinary with the containers employed with the normal storage of the transfer of the processing design, operated to prevent leak with the hazardous substance becoming the discharge sewage, meaning with the domestic sewage, include with the content of the effluents of the septic tank, public sewer with the system, the public sewage treatment plants, sewage sludge may include with the dried and semi-liquid residue of the sewage treatment product with the shop of the bill with the storage tank with the storage tank fabricated with the manufacturing facility shipped to which of the site where it will be installed the reuse. Small business mean with the business with the resident of the New Jersey independently owned with the operator with the dominant with the any with the and the field with the employer with a fewer or less than 100 full-time employees. Soil probability testing, either the quantity measurement that you're ready for the liquid moved through the soil of the ASTM 5856 for the SPO 001 STI standard SPO 001 stream of the inspection above ground storage tank is implemented with the standard operating procedure SOP moved the document setting forth for the operating procedure in accordance with the New Jersey Administrative Code 701E214 with the operating with the individual as of the facility. Alright, state-of-the-art technology means update with the technology, reflect with the equipment, proceed with the comply with the major facility with the result of the significant reduction probably with the discharge of the technology, representative with the advance for the production with the leak with the discharge shall have the decontaminated similar facility to be reliable commercial operation, pilot operation with the scale large enough that they have translate with the commercial operation of the technology have with the public domain with the reasonable cost with the demonstrated with the direct production with the probability of leaks with the discharge achieved with the otherwise available the reasonable cost with the demonstrate reduction and probability of leak with the discharge achieved with the technology is verified with the New Jersey Corporation with Advanced Technology or New Jersey CAT, and innovative with the environmental technology and the depending on the definition information for the verified technology available to the department for the office of innovative technology, market development within division, science, and research. Scientific head testing with the means of the testing with the which involved filling of the tank of the water with the other liquid, placing the tank under pressure with determining any of the leak with the violent period of time. The STI means for the seal tank institute. Storage capacity means for the capacity for the dedicated to the into and U the 10 U the storage of the head substance of the all of the kind of the term is included but not limited above and underground storage tanks, drum with the reservoirs, containers, bins, and intent with the actual use for the open lane with enclosed space. For storage tank with the topical total volume volumetric design capacity with the tank of the storage tank capacity shall include the capacity for the heating oil tank servicing with the individual providing residence of all located with the underground storage tank facility. Usually for storing heating oil on the site with a consumption any tank with a container of the house with any container 5 gallons or less in size. Storage tank means the tank with the reservoir with the container with the head substance of which for the primary use of the bulk storage substantial business relationship that means the extent of the business relationship necessary for the applicable state law with the insurer with the guarantee with the contract with the issue with the incident with the relationship is valid with enforceable. Substantial damage means with the damage with the material with the real worth value effective with the term and it does not include but the damage is speculative contingent with the nominal. substantial modification of the means of any change of the facility with the design modification operation means of the will matter materially of the facility potential for the discharge for the hazard surface maintained include but is not limited to charges any for the surface with the sourcing with the decontamination start with the production facility changing you for the transfer area with the substance for the transfer and change of the hours of operation. Substantial reconstruction meaning for the restoration, refurbishment, and renovation, relocation existing equipment which equivalent equal of the 50% of the more the replacement value with equipment impaired with the physical integrity with the equipment monitoring system. Substantiation meaning for the information for the claimant and submitted for the department in support with the confidential claimant and pursuant with the New Jersey Administrative Code 701E83. Tangible net worth means for the tangible asset with the remaining for the deducting liability asset that does not include the intangible goodwill for the price for the patent with the royalty for the purposes of the definition of the asset for the meaning for the all existing all probable future economic benefits of the obtained with the control of the particular entity with the result of the past transaction. Transfer means unloading on the offloading of the between major facilities and vessels, major facilities from vessel to vessel, major facilities of the major facility, except for the fueling and refueling operation, except for the regarding with the involvement of hazardous substance or other petroleum shall include the unloading and offloading of the major facility transfer. Capacity means the maximum quantity of the hazardous substance which be transported into and out of the facility with a 24-hour period with the transmission pipeline meaning for the new existing piping any of the equipment facility with the right of way of building of the unit and the same with the transfer of the substance of pipeline having the throughput with a capacity of 140 gallons per minute with 530 liters per minute with a greater of the here the the term does not include with the transport of the hazardous substance with the onshore production flow with the lines, refining, manufacturing facilities, storage terminals, and installation pipelines if it's associated with the facility. Any pipe with the intent of the UV transportation has with the substance with the not transmission considered with the facility of the pipe ground underground storage tank meaning with any of the tank with the defined with the New Jersey Administrative Code 714B. Vessel means any with the description watercraft of the contrivance of practicable capable of being used as a means of commercial transportation has substance upon waters and weather are not self-propelled. Waters means the ocean's entry of the seaward limit of the state junction area strips stream of the value of the surface of the groundwater with the natural artificial with the boundary of the state. Alright, hazardous substances, 71E417. The petroleum of the petroleum product with the all substance appendix A with the chapter incorporated with the here and reference with the consider with the hazardous substance except for the sewage and sewage sludge with the shall not construe with the hazardous substance for all of the purposes of the chapter the following shall not be considered hazardous substance metals in either pure element with the alloyed or solid pieces of at least one dimension measurement equaling exceeding 100 micrometers or chemically bonded with the inert substrate. 2. A flammable substance with an inert gas listed in Appendix A with a design with an asterisk E1 71E18 environmental sensitivity for the purpose of the design implementation of the discharge prevention, contamination control plan, and discharge cleanup remedial plan with the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E4 belongs to be considered environmental sensitive areas. Surface waters include with the limitation large river, the medium water, streams, creeks, ponds, lakes, reservoir and defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77121B, and canals in New Jersey Administrative Code 7798A, and estuaries in Title 33 U.S. Standard Code 1330K, and bays including without limitation open bay within a semi-enclosed bay with the black bays as defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77121B. Any water resource defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 719.1-13 with utilized with a public water system with a non-public water system with the defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 710.13. Bay Islands defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77921A with a barrier inland islands corridor defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77920A. Breaches defined in New Jersey Administrative 77922A. Dunes are defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77916A. Wetland transition include without limitation following with the first water transition defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77814. Wetlands defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77927A. And wetland buffer the transition defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 77928. Credential wildlife habitats Prime fishing area, finishing migratory pathways, submerged vegetation habitats, shellfish waters. Forest areas include the prime forest land and the unique forest land habitat, federal, state, and endangered, threatened plant and animal species, and federal, state, and wildlife, wild wilderness areas include the areas of natural areas system designated New Jersey Administrative Code 75A113, state registered natural areas pursuant to the Natural Area System Act, the New Jersey State Authority 13.1B, 15.12A, 10 sequence, and 15.4, 10 sequence of the New Jersey Administrative Code 75A14, preserve the land held by New Jersey Natural Lands. Trust pursuant to the New Jersey Natural Land Trust Act, the New Jersey State Authority 13.1B, 15.119, 10 sequence, and wild and scenic river rec quarters defined in New Jersey Administrative Code 779.44A. Or 71E9 acts if during the normal business hour of any time during the actual suspected discharge violation of the Department of Representative of the right of the enter of the inspector of the facility of the vessel building of the equipment any of the portion in order to ascertain compliance with the act as a chapter in order to the consent of the agreement that can issue with the enter into the pursuant any of the time of the Department of the Representative shall have the right to enter with the inspect with the portion of the facility vessel building and equipment to actively engage in the transfer process that has something in order to ascertain the compliance with the act of the chapter of the any award consent with the agreement of the issue with the enter within the pursuant of the right shall include, but not limited to, the right of the sample of any of the parts of materials of the facility, the sketch of the photograph of the videotape of any portion of the facility of the vessel of the building and the equipment, copy the photograph and the document with the records necessary to determine the such compliance with the non-compliance interview with the employee with the representative of the owner and operator with their contract by their contractors. So for the right, it shall be absolute, shall not be able to contain with the upon action of the department except of the pre-sentence presentation of the appropriate residential as requested complying with the appropriate standard safety procedure. The department may inspect with a major facility for the prior of the discharge prevention contaminant countermeasure or discharge cleanup plan. Owners operators of the employee with the representative of the assist for the children and not hinder and delay with the department of representative of the performance of all aspects of the inspection. R71E10, the waiver, the department shall determine the application for the removal of the world and pay for the expeditious contamination for the cleanup of the right, removal of the discharge of the endangered life of the health and safety of the environment and made view, waiver the provisions of these rules. Hackability. No person called with a suffer or allowed with a permit in the discharge that has a suffer the major facility with the defined in the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E16 are required to meet the standard of the chapter of the department shall grant to the owner and operative with a major facility with a period of time and light with all circumstances include with the economic feasibility upgrade with the existing equipment and procedure of the due may establish with the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E2, excluding the requirements of the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E2. 2A4 of the 216 of the major facility provided with the satisfaction department of the entirety department of such time of the period with the report rate of such upgrading shall be approved with new by the owner and operator with the DPCC and the DCR of the plan submitted by the New Jersey Administrative Code 71E4 with the new equipment that proceeded shall meet with the corporate New Jersey Administrative Code 71E2 prior to being placed in service. Not a major facility with which have the storage capacity of the major becoming the major facility should be considered the major facility of the department. Any of the requirement of any of the major facility have been graded. It appeared with the upgraded installation, alternative prevention of the detection devices with the line with the minimum of the discharge, answer for the discharge of the main addition required with the owner and operator of the start of the major facilities demonstrate the enhanced ability to prevent the expeditious containing and cleanup of the removal of the discharge of the portion facility with the time of the period with the upgrade with the granted. The department required the installation alternative prevention of the detection text of the owner and operator shall propose the device and the use of the subject of the department of approval. The department recommended the design of the major facility to differ there from the appropriate method of the discharge prevention from the necessary site specifically. When these rules of the particular method of discharge prevention is mandated for the owner and the operative of the major facilities may be substitute alternative method if he or she would demonstrate with the satisfaction of the department that such alternate method will provide protection against the discharge of the least equivalent to the method intended for the replace. Subchapter 2, Prevention Control of the Discharge of Major Facilities.